Am I the asshole for replacing my sister's expensive wedding cake with a $50 grocery store replica after she humiliated my wife? I, 28, am married to my wife Maya, 27. Maya is a professional baker. She does not just make cakes, she makes literal pieces of art. She went to pastry school in France, worked her butt off, and finally opened her own boutique bakery 2 years ago. My sister Chloe, 30, got engaged last year. Chloe is a lot. She has always been the golden child of our family, incredibly spoiled and very high maintenance. When she started planning her wedding, she immediately came to Maya asking for a custom 5-tier hyper-realistic floral wedding cake. For context, a cake of this caliber from Maya's shop easily starts at $2,500 because of the sheer labor, high-end organic ingredients, and custom structural work involved. Chloe asked for it, but when Maya gave her the family discount price of $1,000, basically just covering the cost of the premium ingredients, Chloe flipped out. She accused Maya of trying to scam her own family and running a pretentious little hobby shop. Maya was hurt, but she's a total sweetheart and wanted to keep the peace. I told Maya not to do it, but she insisted. She spent over 40 hours hand-sculpting sugar flowers, baking custom tiers, and assembling this absolute masterpiece. It was a stunning vanilla bean cake with fresh raspberry coulis and white chocolate ganache. It looked like it belonged on the cover of a luxury bridal magazine. The drama happened the night before the wedding at the rehearsal dinner. Chloe had clearly had a few drinks. During her speech, she thanked everyone for coming, and then she looked right at Maya in front of over 60 guests. She laughed into the microphone and said, "And a special thanks to my sister-in-law Maya. I know your little baking business has been struggling, and you desperately needed the exposure, so thank you for begging to do my cake for free. I guess your little cakes are okay even if they aren't quite professional standard yet, but it's the thought that counts." The entire room went completely dead silent. Maya's face drained of all color. She looked like she was about to cry, got up from the table and walked out to the parking lot. I was furious. I stood up, glared at Chloe, and told her she was a toxic, ungrateful brat. My mom tried to pull me down, whispering that Chloe was just stressed and it was just a joke for the crowd. I ignored her, walked out, and found Maya sobbing in our car. Maya told me she couldn't face going to the wedding the next day. She felt utterly degraded after pouring 40 hours of free, exhausting labor into something just to be publicly mocked as a charity case. That's when I decided to take matters into my own hands. The next morning, while Maya stayed home to rest and practice some much-needed self-care, I went to Maya's shop. The wedding cake was sitting perfectly boxed in the commercial fridge, waiting to be delivered. I looked at it, and then I thought about Chloe's smug face at the microphone. Instead of loading the masterpiece into my trunk, I drove straight to the nearest giant chain grocery store. I went to the bakery counter and bought 3 basic pre-made sheet cakes with plain white vanilla frosting. They cost me exactly $52.50. I took them out to the parking lot, stacked them on top of each other, using a few plastic dowels I brought from Maya's shop, smeared some extra grocery store frosting over the gaps to make it look vaguely like a tiered cake, and threw a handful of cheap artificial plastic flowers on top. It looked crooked, lumpy, and incredibly basic. It looked exactly like a $50 grocery store rush job. I drove to the wedding venue, walked past the coordinators, and set my monstrosity right on the main display table in the reception hall. Then, I took Maya's actual $2,500 masterpiece, drove it over to a local children's shelter, and donated it so the kids and staff could have an amazing weekend treat. I didn't stay for the ceremony. I went home to be with my wife. Around 6 p.m., my phone completely exploded. I had 47 missed calls from my mother, 12 from my dad, and a barrage of texts from Chloe that could honestly be used as evidence in a court of law. Apparently, when Chloe and her new husband walked into the reception hall for their grand entrance, the first thing everyone noticed was the sad, lumpy, melting grocery store cake sitting under the spotlights. When Chloe went over to inspect it, she saw the plastic flowers and the chemical-tasting lard frosting. She had an absolute screaming meltdown right there in front of her guests. She refused to do the cake cutting, accused the venue of ruining her wedding, and then realized I was the one who delivered it. My mom called me screaming. saying I ruined my only sister's wedding day over a harmless joke. She said Chloe was completely humiliated in front of her new in-laws because the cake looked ghetto and cheap. My dad texted me saying that while Chloe was out of line the night before, what I did was a malicious, calculated act of revenge that has fractured the family permanently. Even a few extended family members have chimed in saying, I should have just let Chloe have her day and dealt with the drama afterward, and that taking away the cake was unhinged behavior. Maya, on the other hand, thinks I am her absolute hero, especially after seeing photos of the kids at the shelter enjoying her actual hard work. But the rest of my family is threatening to completely cut me off if I do not pay Chloe back for the emotional distress and issue a public apology to her on Facebook. So guys, am I the asshole?